And we are live. So this is the stock watch list. Monday is obviously closed. We have Martin Luther King Day, so the market is going to be closed. It's going to be a short week, low volatility, but earnings season is here, baby. Earnings season is here. We're going to get a nice little look into the reports from all these big companies, seeing how their forecasts look in terms of what they have facing and how well they're doing in this economic environment, because inflation is sky high, and these forecasts were adjusted and stuff. So don't be too on the left side versus the right side here for reports being really bad, because remember the analysts have their expectations and they adjust them for economic environments like this one. So they could still beat. They're probably not going to perform as well as they did last year just because of how expensive products are. But if they don't beat, then it's probably going to be a pretty bad sign for the market, because I'm looking right now at the S&P 500. We kind of broke that line. So this is the daily. And this is the weekly. So this is the weekly trend on the S&P 500, and this looks bad to me. So we're rallying, we're retesting this. I've been talking about this rejection so many times. Kind of looks like we might break it this time, though. I might be bullish. I'm not that bullish, to be honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if we broke it this time, just because inflation is pulling back quite a bit. But not a lot of people understand that deflationary environments are not good for the economy either. So instead of CPI data and inflation being the number one key level for everybody to pay attention to, we need to be paying attention to the PPI data, the producers, because once all these prices cost more, think about it, it flips. So it costs a lot for consumers in an inflation environment, so it's a lot cheaper for producers. But it flip-flops on the producer side of things. So once we enter into a deflationary state, then it costs a lot more to produce these products, so nobody can really get their hands on them because there's not as much out there. So deflation is not good for the economy either, and that is why I think that the S&P 500 is going to reject this weekly chart level. We're looking at this 370 pullback. That would be crazy. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I am looking for a reject here at this 399, 400 level. If we break that, there is room up to that 410, so could be a decent point for us to continue to rally. I don't know if I believe that's going to happen. Especially from this point down here, it's kind of forming like a nice little trend line here. So could see another 380 test. If we reject that 400, I would look for that 380 for the week, depending on how earnings are. We have Netflix this week, which kicks us off. We have some banks to start off on Tuesday as well. And then next week, I'm pretty sure we get like Meta, Amazon, Google, all the big players. So it could be we could gear us up for some puts. So I'm looking at the SPY actually positioned for quite a few months out. SPY puts here, so if it ends up breaking this, then I have a stop loss set for some of the swing trades I have going on. But this is a great key level that I'm watching. We tried to break it before, and obviously we got rejected. So that 410 is a massive level. At this point, that 400 is the massive level. So if we break that, then maybe we do see the rally. Maybe we have broken that downtrend, but personally, I don't think so, because I don't think we're out of the water just yet. So I'm looking for that S&P 500 pullback. Same thing with the QQQ. This thing hasn't really rallied too much yet. It hasn't even, it has from the bottom. 260 to 280 is pretty nice, but around this 284, 283, 285-ish level is that rejection point for the downtrend. So I don't think that we're ready to go anywhere just yet, but I guess stay tuned for that. I also wanted to point out Netflix. Netflix premiums look really great. I'm looking at the weekly chart right now. Huge uptrends for quite a while now. So I'm looking at this 200 EMA right at this 365-ish level. I could potentially take a strangle play on this. This would be like 360 calls or maybe even $300 puts. Around that $30 range, I'll see what's happening around Tuesday, Wednesday, right before the report to see the price action. But to see this at 162 low, the big rally from how long it's been, and then their web traffic views have been consistent throughout. I just don't know. I don't think that, maybe because people are staying home more because they can't afford going out so much, people are losing money like crazy. I don't know. I think that maybe Netflix has an opportunity to go down. So when I look at the options chain on Netflix, the premiums look really good to me. That $30 difference. I usually do the next week out if I ever play an earnings play. I keep it super cheap, obviously, because earnings are really risky. 290s are 385 a pop. So 290s or maybe even 300s. By the time that it rolls around, it might be $100 less here. So maybe they'll be worth like 400. These 290s might be worth like 200. So I might take that because in the monies are like 1,800, so it could be a really great payoff if Netflix misses and they head the other way. So I'll be watching Netflix for earnings. That's really the only really real one I'm watching. I'm also looking at UAL because look at this. This is insane. This weekly chart, this daily chart, just an absolute rocket ship over the last week or so. So this is the big turmoil, I believe, from the holiday travel. And now we're just kind of going crazy. So we're looking at this level right here at 51. I looked at some puts for their earnings play because they have it on Tuesday as well. I believe it's Tuesday or Wednesday. They have earnings. So I might look for that reversal since it's kind of hitting the very top of this Bollinger Band, major squeeze. I can't imagine that this is sustainable. So that's what I'm watching this week. I got the SPY. I really, really think that we get those rejection levels, especially with PPI coming out on Wednesday. We also have a bunch of earnings, Netflix, QQQ, obviously those rejection levels. So there is some room to 400, but that might be a very, very key pivotal point for us to head to the downside. So Netflix, UAL, QQQ, SPY, that's what I'm watching. And let's see what we can do. So last week, got to just say it real quick, bonus, Goldman Sachs, banger. If you saw that play, I had that on my last week's watch list. This was the setup. I had this circled and all week rallied up to 374. Those contracts went from like 250 to 1,200 a pop. So these watch lists work. Hopefully you're finding value in them. And if you have any questions, as always, let me know.